What's going on, everybody? It's Kalen Moss, the Minute Admin, and welcome to the Minute Admin podcast. In today's episode, we have a Marketing Cloud maven with us. Meet Jason Trout, the founder of a Marketing Cloud consulting powerhouse. With over 15 years of experience, Jason has been transforming businesses throughout his entire expertise in Marketing Cloud. You can connect with him on LinkedIn, where he regularly shares valuable insights, or visit his website to learn more about his services. Get ready to dive deep into the world of Marketing Cloud with our guest, Jason Trout. Jason, glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, Kalen.
Thank you. So, Jason, could you tell us a little bit about your journey and how you started off in Marketing Cloud and how you started this consulting agency?
Yeah, sure. So, throughout my career, I've always been in some type of marketing or marketing technology role. And one of my stops along the way was at a company called Love's Country Stores and Travel Stops, 500-600 locations across the nation. And I actually wasn't hired to come in and rehaul their tech stack, their marketing tech stack. But when I got in there, I was working on a small marketing technology team, but we worked really closely with the loyalty marketing team. And they had dreams of what they wanted to do from a marketing standpoint for their loyal customers, and their marketing tech just wasn't going to get them there. So we spun up a project to replace what they were currently using. I led that project to evaluate the options. We landed on Marketing Cloud, and from the business standpoint, I helped lead that implementation, working closely with an implementation partner. And so after that experience and really understanding Marketing Cloud, liking the experience working with the product, I thought, hey, I could do this on the other side. I could be a consultant. And so I started that journey. And it's kind of difficult to crack that, right? Because consultancies want a consultant that's done projects before, right? So you kind of have to be patient there. But I finally got that chance to be a consultant. And then after a few years doing it as a full-time employee with a couple of different consultancies, I again sat back and said, hey, I think I can do this on my own. So I jumped out on my own and started Boldramp.
Nice, man. And just a little background for everybody watching. Jason worked at Love's Travel Stops, and I worked at Love's Travel Stops. And Jason was one of my first mentors. Jason, I might have told you this before, but you kind of helped me get into the consulting game back in 2019, I think it was. So yeah, man, we didn't even know each other, and Jason was still there to help me out. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, when you get into it, you start to learn how small the community is, and you cross paths with folks, and so it's awesome that we're here again. 4 or 5 years later.
Exactly. So Jason, what specific services does your agency offer, and how do you help businesses with Marketing Cloud?
Yeah, so we focus specifically around Marketing Cloud. And so we do anywhere from a new implementation, client just purchased Marketing Cloud and needs to get up and running and needs the help of a consultancy that's been there, done that. We also help with ongoing advisory support, campaign execution. So anywhere from a couple months engagement to get them up and running to long-term engagements, we're just right there as an extension of their marketing or market automation team.
And what do you say you see more of so far in your experience? What would you say you've seen more of?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think at the beginning, I'd say more new implementations because from my full-time work as a consultant, that's more of what I did. So it was kind of natural to kind of find more of those projects. But as I've kind of explored what Boldramp is, where we can find our clients, we've found a lot of messes to be cleaned up. So a lot of what we're doing now, sure, we're still doing implementations and we always will, but a lot of what we're doing now is clients are coming to us to say, hey, we implemented this 2 or 3 years ago. We've had some turnover on our team. The previous firm didn't leave us with any documentation. So all of the knowledge around what's going on in Marketing Cloud has kind of left the company, and they need our help to come in and really just do an audit of what's going on, what's working, what's broken, what's on fire, what needs to be enhanced. And that's kind of that kicks off our engagement, which ultimately what comes out of the audit is, a lot of recommendations in a roadmap. And with that audit, they've gained trust that we know what we're talking about. We've done it before, and we know how to get you where you want to go. And that just creates that good foundation for a longer relationship.
Yes, I completely agree, man. It sounds like you guys have a ton of experience on both sides. So starting from scratch and also bringing in experts to build or to fix what's already been created. So that leads me to my next question. What do you think sets your agency apart from others in the industry? What are you doing differently?
Yeah, so I would say a couple of things. One is that we're solely focused on Marketing Cloud, right? So if a client comes to us and says, "Hey, we have Salesforce CRM implementation," we're glad to talk to them, but we're going to refer them to a trusted partner of ours. So we only do Marketing Cloud, and that's what we're good at, and we kind of stay in our lane. Now, that's not entirely unique, right? There are certainly others that do Marketing Cloud really well, but a couple of those that have historically done Marketing Cloud really well have also been acquired, right? So things change, culture change, team changes, and so we still think that's a good place to be in the Marketing Cloud space. And then the other thing is what I experienced when I was at a larger consultancy was, the consultancy was great at winning business because they had a ton of household names of logos that they could throw up on the screen, and then when the project starts, those consultants that worked on those huge projects and did all this great work are nowhere to be found. You're left with the B team, the folks that have maybe not even gone through an implementation from start to finish, and so you're left with some of these projects that then we have to go clean up, right? In our experience, there is no bait and switch, right? You talk to me, we're still small enough to where I'm involved on every project, right? And we also use senior consultants on our projects, and so that's kind of what you're going to get with us that I find with others, that it might be someone that doesn't necessarily have the experience that we're able to bring to the table.
Yeah, and I like that personal touch. That's like sort of reminds me of like a white glove treatment, that bespoke treatment. If they talk to you, you're who they're getting,
right,
and the people you interact with daily. So I like that. Good. Speaking of the senior consultants, speaking of consultants in general, for other consultants, whether they might be coming from Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, even within Marketing Cloud, for consultants who want to specialize in Marketing Cloud, what advice or resources would you recommend to help them get started, and not only get started, but also excel in the field? So I guess advice, maybe we can just stick to that one right there. What advice would you give?
I think the biggest piece of advice I can give is solve real world problems as fast as you can. And don't count on anyone else to help you do that. Of course, you're not going to be an expert in everything, but for example, when I first got into consulting, I came from a marketing background. I wasn't a developer, a coder. I had no idea how to write a query. And when you get into consulting, very quickly you realize that everyone in the room is looking to you to know all the answers, and you might not know them, but you quickly understand that you're going to have to go figure them out. And as these new requirements came to me of how that I needed to know AmScript, I needed to be able to write this query, and I have a client that needs me to do it on a certain timeline, then you put in the work, you put in the hours, and you figure out how to do it. And the more and more you put yourself into those situations where you have to figure something out, and it's a real problem that then you can continue to learn from, and you can bring that to another project, the faster your skills are going to develop and the better you're going to be, and the more value you're going to have as a consultant.
Yeah, man. I think you're giving some life advice right there. Solve problems as fast as possible and then iterate, right? I mean, that's
Right.
life in general. It's like fixing a car, fix it, solve it real quick, see if it works. If it doesn't, go fix, you get the other part. So
That's exactly right. And, I also been doing this for a lot of years now, 8-9 years, specifically around Marketing Cloud. Hey, I'm still Googling stuff, right? I'm still hitting Stack Exchange articles every day. There's always something else to learn. There's always a challenge you're not going to be able to figure out on your own. But that's why we're in this community, because we're all helping each other out. And so don't be afraid to just go figure something else out and solve it for yourself.
Yep. You heard it here first from an expert himself. You have to just be willing to Google search. You have to be willing to go solve the problem, even if you don't know it. I try to, explain that as much as possible. But I think there's still that imposter syndrome of you're supposed to know everything when you step on the client site. And I tell people, look, you're not an encyclopedia. You shouldn't even have everything inside of your head. As time goes on, you will gain more experience, but I love that you said you Google search, you look answers up. So yeah, I appreciate you putting that one in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So can you share a success story with us or a challenging project that you overcame that your agency worked on? And then also, what valuable lessons did you learn from that success story or that challenging project?
Yeah, so I think a success story, and it was a challenging project, but also just one of the more interesting ones, the more unique ones, is we had a payroll software company come to us for a new implementation, and I've implemented Marketing Cloud many times over the years. Every single one of them, except this one, you're replacing another piece of software, right? You're replacing a Marketo or whatever it is, Eloqua. You have something that a marketing automation team or marketers are using, and they need to transition to this new tool. And so you're starting with kind of the current state of what their marketing campaigns look like today. You're moving them over to Marketing Cloud. You're improving their processes, their data integration, et cetera, et cetera. In this case, there was nothing to replace. This was the first time that this group had any type of marketing automation software, because the process of signing up a small business owner, they were focused on small businesses. The process was, you had to call someone. You had to get on the phone. You had to talk to them about your business and how big you are and give them all the information many times until you ultimately run your first payroll and become a customer. And the project was to completely make that digital, right? Small business owners don't have time to be on the phone doing that. And also this company, there's a lot of small businesses that they were targeting. So they also don't have the manpower to continue to do what they were doing. So it was truly transformational what we were doing to make it a 100% online experience, and really looking at Journey Builder to help facilitate that and get these prospects through their qualification process, to get them to ultimately run their first payroll. And so that was an exciting project, just because it was so unique that we weren't replacing an existing marketing automation platform. And so it was really starting from scratch and inventing what this should be.
Yes, we know you know a lot in Marketing Cloud, man. Like, you're hitting all types of projects. You're bringing people up to speed who aren't even using technology, people who need fresh implementations, people who are already using it. Now, the question I have for you is, how do you actually stay up to date with everything new in Marketing Cloud? How do you know what's coming out? How do you stay ahead of the curve, right? What resources are you using to learn that? And what would you recommend to other Marketing Cloud professionals who want to learn the same things?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I just saw you at Dreamforce. And it's also at Connections a few months before that. So of course that's where you're hearing where Salesforce is going,
Yep.
what the product roadmap looks like, where are their big bets for their company, for the future. So I think those are important. And listen, we all don't uh, get the ticket to go to Dreamforce, right? Our companies don't pay for it, or they have us working on projects, whatever it may be, but everyone can't be there. But you got Salesforce Plus, you got a lot of folks that are there that are then telling us what was covered, all those things. So ensuring that you're able to get exposure to that one way or the other, if it's being there or watching them after the fact and hearing from those that have been there. And then just following the folks in the space, especially around Marketing Cloud. All the big names in the space. You're one of them, right? So just ensuring that you keep a pulse on what they're talking about, reading the release notes. All of those things are kind of the main things that I do to stay up to date.
Yep. Conferences, release notes, just being, and like you said, surrounding yourself around people who talk about the subject, right?
Right.
That's the biggest thing, that community. And I think everything you touched on hit on an aspect of community in some sort. So
Right.
great stuff there. What is one piece of advice that you would give to businesses who are looking to improve their marketing cloud strategies or their implementations?
Man, that's a big question. I think the one thing that comes up time and time again for us, especially going back to those companies that are already utilizing Marketing Cloud, or they're moving off of another robust platform like Marketing Cloud, that sometimes means that they're a larger company, right? And they've been doing what they're doing for a long time. And oftentimes when we come in, we're able to be that third party and ask the questions why, right? Why are you doing it this way? Why are you not doing it this way? And what we often hear is, well, that's what we've always done, or that's what my predecessor did, or because that's what we do. And I think the biggest piece of advice I can give for businesses is really spend some time to ensure that what you're doing currently is still what you should be doing, not just because someone else did it, right? But let's start back with the basics, right? What's the vision of what you're trying to do? What are your strategies? And your overall customer journey. Understand what that is. Understand the key milestones and the big challenges that you're able to solve for your customers, and ensure that what you're doing from a marketing perspective is still mapping to that. And oftentimes we find that that's gone off course a little bit, and it's time to course correct. So spending time with the basics before you even talk marketing automation is key.
I like that. It reminds me of this Peter Drucker quote where he said, I think, what was it? He goes, if you wouldn't start what you're currently doing today, then why do you persist? And I was
100%.
like,
Yeah.
that was mind blowing when I heard that. But you just said that basically, right? It's like people are doing things because that's just the old way of doing things. And it's
Right.
like, is it working? Do the metrics show that it's actually helping? So I love that. I love that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think I just may have had something like this in a LinkedIn post this week, but talking about measurement, right? Test it. If you don't know what you're doing is working, just go test it. We have the tools at our disposal to make testing these things, these campaigns, these emails, these text changes, this image or whatever. It's very easy to test that these days. So there's no reason to kind of not know what's working and what's not.
Yep. And it's all automatic. That's the beauty of technology today. So
Right.
set it and then let it do it automatically. So last question I've got for you here, and it is, how can interested businesses and individuals, consultants, also learn about your agency and potentially collaborate with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm very active on LinkedIn, very easy to find, Jason Trout on LinkedIn. And so I'm there every day. DM me, follow me if you like what I'm saying, definitely reach out and would love to chat. And then the business website is real simple. It's just boldramp.com.
Thank you. And we'll have it in the description below for anyone who's watching, both of those, the LinkedIn for Jason and the website as well. So with that being said, Jason, we have 5 rapid fire questions for you. And we're going to get started. You ready?
Let's hear them.
All right. Favorite book right now?
Oh, man. That's a good one. I'm not reading a book right now. I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, and I just listened to one today that was pretty good. It was called The Startup Executive.
Okay.
So most of my education right now is coming from podcasts.
All right, cool. Yeah, they're taking over, man. Startup Executive. Okay. And then a CEO that you're following.
I follow Michael Burton. So he's, grew a marketing cloud consultancy at a very rapid pace and is rinsing and repeating with Stitch and Braze. And so it's just fun to follow his path, creating this new company and all of the excitement and challenges that come with, growing a business. Hiring and positioning, all of that. It's fun to follow.
Nice. Michael Burton. I'm going to have to check him out. Okay. 2 quick ones here. How old are you, Jason?
I am 41.
41. Any kids?
No kids. We have two dogs that remind us that we have a lot of responsibility to just take care of these guys, and we'll see what happens in the future, though.
All right. And last one here is, what is your favorite piece of software that you're using?
Man, I have so many. I think one that I'm using a lot more and more is Airtable, just to stay organized and in terms of my outreach and prospects and all kinds of things in these spreadsheets on Airtable. So that's my favorite one today.
Airtable. All right, cool. Well, thank you for that, Jason. We appreciate you for coming on here to the Minute Admin podcast. And that's all we've got for you guys. Make sure to stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on any future Minute Admin videos. Jason Trout, Kaylin Moss, Minute Admin, out.